Alright guys, we're doing something a little different today. I promised my son for a couple weeks now that I'd help him with the rust repair on his Brat. It's a 79 Brat, probably came out of the Midwest somewhere, so it's got major rust in the wheel wells. Now, there's a lot of different ways to do this, and I'm sure everybody's got their opinion on how to do it. I'm going to show you my way. Now, some people use fiberglass. I'm going to do this out of sheet metal. So, we've tapped around and seen where the good metal starts and where the bad ends. So we're going to make a panel first to go, probably make sure we get past these blisters here. We're going to go here to here, saving this body line so we don't have to recreate it. You see how this comes in like here? So that's the panel we're going to make first, and it's got to wrap all the way to the pinch weld because this thing's rusted all the way out to the pinch weld. So we'll clean the pinch weld, we'll clean all this so we know that we got good steel. We'll make a template, bend it, shape it, tack it in. Then we'll move on and we'll work our way around. So that's the plan. Let's try to get it done. Okay, so we've cut out a piece of paper that's about the right size. Okay, this is just poster board, no big deal. So I'm going to hold it in place to where I think it should go. And this will give me an idea of all the bends and shapes. Now I just went and wrapped it around the bottom so I can know what I need to do. A couple of crude marks there. I know the bend's going to start there and it stops bending around there. Okay, so what we're going to do is this. We're going to cut this off. We'll bend this at 90 degrees and then we'll shape this a little bit. We're going to take it and fit it, the new piece of sheet metal, on until we got it exactly the shape we want. Then we cut. We don't cut before. It makes it way easier if you make the piece first, then cut it to fit the hole. So, alright, so we've taken our template, we taped it onto the piece of sheet metal and sheared it, and we bent the 90 degrees we talked about. Now I've laid it on the car and I've roughly marked where the bend starts to where the bend ends. Now we need to roll this. Now I have a roller, but it's going to do a much bigger area. So we're going to actually try to roll this, shape this nicely on just a pipe. Slowly shape it, following the lines. Okay, so we've shaped this piece over and over until we actually have a 85–90% match. So what we're going to do now is trace this onto the metal, and then we'll cut just on the line. We don't want a big gap, we want to be able to get close here. Now, some guys will just slap this over and Bondo the crap at everything. I'm going to try to inlay this. Now, the whole way to my process is you cut the hole to fit the piece. You don't make the piece to fit the hole, okay? I found that you spend way more time trying to make a piece to fit a hole when I can just lay this on here, trace it out, and be done. Alright, now that we have the hole cut to match the piece and everything's right, we're using clamps to hold it, at least in one spot so I can manipulate it. And we're going to start tacking it, real small tacks around to keep it in place. Alright guys, I don't know if you can see it from that angle, but it's all tacked in about every inch apart. I can move the whole car by this piece. I know it's strong. We got good welds on the shitty metal, but it's holding. So at this point we can move on to the next area. Bondo will fill the rest of it. We can smooth it out and shape it, it'll be great. So now this wheel well is completely gone up front here. So we're going to swap over, put a new rocker panel or kick panel, whatever you want to call it, on the front up here, and that way we can do the whole wheel well, hopefully in one shot, so it doesn't look all bumpy. So first we got to figure out how to get this trim off.
Like only yesterday, I held you in my hands, and now I'm looking on your grave and sit on heavy fence. I've got no sun that shines on me. I've got no place to go.
All right, so we ran into a problem. Once we cut off the front panel, all this is completely rusted out. Now this is the main cross member that holds the rear suspension. So we need to beef this back up. So what we're gonna do is cut a piece the best we can. It's not the best way to go, but we're gonna cut a piece of thicker metal and put it in there and try to weld it up the best we can and try to re-strengthen it. And then this piece here, looks like it's just a rocker. We might try to make a piece on here too. So we got to do some internal work before we can get to the outside piece.
My love, my little victory. I miss you so. That room and road hotel.
All right, so we undercoated the inner panel so it'll keep the rust down. We put this panel on, it's all stitched in. We were able to match the body line. All right guys, well, we got the back panel, the front panel in. Body lines look great, I'm totally happy with them. The next thing we have to do is this rusted out wheel well. Now this is going to require a lot of different pieces. I wish we could find a donor wheel well to go in, but we can't find parts for this, so we're gonna have to make it from scratch. So on the next one we'll pick up there. I do not want to make you watch a 2-hour video on this, so on the next one we'll pick up from there and we'll do that. Well, hopefully you got some useful information out of this and it helps you guys. Do me a favor, if you do like this video, like and subscribe, and if you want to see some of my other stuff, there's a link over here. Alright guys, have a good one.